So the USA Wrestling Senior National Tournament just finished up. I'm just going to recap the 57 kilogram freestyle bracket in this specific video. And one of the things that a lot of people were interested in seeing was how Spencer Lee would look. He was a former world champion in freestyle back when he had last competed, but that was also at the junior level. He's had a couple of years in college since then. We haven't seen what he looks like in freestyle right now, so this was a really good opportunity to see where he's at relative to some other high-level competition. So from the quarterfinals on, he went through 3 All-American / national champions. So he beat Darian Cruz, a former national champion, won that match 10-0. Beat Vito Arujau 14-4. Vito was just an All-American last year as a freshman at Cornell, and then beat former national champion Nathan Tomasello, who he had also beaten in folk style. So I'm going to go through some clips from his matches and just look at how he was able to get those wins. Then I'll go back through the rest of the bracket and talk about that. So in that quarterfinal match with Darian Cruz, he was able to get a push out early. Here he gets in on a shot on a single, is able to reach across the hip and take Cruz down. Or Cruz is able to avoid giving up points right away, but Spencer Lee sticks with it and eventually gets the 2 on the edge. Again, here, Lee sort of like, it looks like he was kind of sprawled out here, sort of, I don't remember if this was from a shot from Darian Cruz or what the setup to that was, but Lee is able to come around from behind here, grab the hold of the ankle, comes back up, gets his 2, tries to get a turn on the edge as well. So he gets 4 points there. So that would be 7. Also gets another push out to make it 8-0. And then in the second period is able to get a takedown here where he has Cruz backing him sort of off balance. And then on the reshot here, Spencer Lee runs right through him, takes him down, and gets the 2 points. So then he has a match with Arujau, which is a much more competitive match. Arujau definitely had his moments here, even though he did end up getting teched. But from early on, Lee's able to get in a shot here. Comes up. Arujau rolls through, and as he's rolling through, Lee's back isn't going to end up getting exposed here. But Lee is able to roll through and end up on top anyway. So he keeps working through it. The way that ended up being scored was 2-1 for Arujau, which is sort of weird, and that Lee initiated it. Lee ended up on top. But because he had his back exposed for a little period of time, he ends up actually being behind on the score. But if this was folk style, I believe that actually would have just been 2 for Spencer Lee. Although obviously that's not a match that's going to be happening this year, with Vito having a red shirt or an Olympic red shirt being put in place. But here again, Lee has a nice 2-on-1 here on Arujau's right arm, gets in on a single, and then was able to take him down. So gets to 3-2. Then starts getting to the point where he's able to turn him. So I think he has like a trap arm gut here. So turns him, gets 2 points, turns him right back, gets 2 more points. Then as he's coming up, Arujau almost gets a reversal here. But Lee sticks with it, has both legs tied together, has sort of like a low leg lace here, and turns around. So out of that whole sequence, he gets an additional 4 points on the ground. So now it's 7-2, so Lee's got a pretty nice lead. Then Arujau is able to shoot in on a single. He's able to lift Lee's leg up and drive through, end up on top. So Arujau now down only 3 points by the score of 7-4. With 2 minutes left to go. Lee's able to then get another push out to make it 8-4. Then Lee gets in on another single leg, works through it, ends up on top, is able to get some back exposure as he gets the finish as well. So he gets 2 for the takedown and then 2 for the back exposure. Or actually, I guess he wasn't given points for the back exposure on that one. So then he comes in on another outside single / high crotch. Again, this time he does get the back exposure. Right there. So it was a 6-point lead at that point, gets the back exposure, and that's enough for him to then get the tech fall. So it goes into the finals against Nathan Tomasello, former NCAA champion, a guy who he faced 3 times in his freshman year, was able to beat him at the national tournament, lost in the Big Tens. And I believe in the duel, he got the win. I think that was in Ohio, in Columbus. But here he has a really high underhook, kind of puts Tomasello off balance, grabs the ankle here, gets an ankle pick, gets the takedown. So that's 2-0 for Lee. Lee's then able to get a push out, goes up 3-0, shoots in again. He's able to follow through here on the single, follows it towards the outside of the mat, but keeps his foot in bounds. So rather than being a push out in 1 point, he gets the takedown for 2. So he's up 5-0. But then early on in the second, Tomasello sort of catches Lee off balance. It's sort of a weird position that set it up. But Tomasello gets his 2 points here. Then Tomasello shoots in again. Lee eventually gets an underhook with his right arm, as you can see here, and is able to lift him up. Looks like he has control behind the elbow or bicep, or or tricep of the right arm of Tomasello and is able to take him over here. So no back points here. I think it was just 2 for a takedown. But either way, gets an 8-2 lead, and then from there is able to hang on and get the victory. So Spencerly in his freestyle debut, or I guess senior level freestyle debut, looks absolutely dominant. Obviously, he's locked up a spot now in the Olympic trials, and we'll get to see where he goes from here. As for the rest of the bracket, on the bottom half, as I mentioned, he ended up beating Vito because Vito got a 2-2 criteria win over Nick Suriano, which was a bit of an upset. I think people expected Suriano versus Lee to be a match that would happen. And obviously, we saw how Lee got all the way through to the finals. On the top half of the bracket, Tomasello won 10-0 against Pirelli. Ran through into Sean Garrett, which was a bit of a shock. Garrett got through Corey Clark and then Alan Waters prior to having to face off against Nathan Tomasello. And then in the consolation bracket, for third and fourth place, let's drag over there. Arujau, it looks like it was a forfeit. Gets the win over Suriano, so I don't think that match actually happened there. So Arujau would finish third, Suriano fourth. And again, all the top 5 guys here do qualify for the Olympic trials. So Arujau will now have a shot at the Olympic trials. Suriano will. And then for fifth place, Sanders was able to beat Nishan Garrett, which is a bit surprising. Although I think Garrett, since he had made a world team in the past 4 years, is going to be at the trials regardless. So that would be how 57 kilograms ended up working out for everyone.